Hey guys, we're going to do a mat assessment using a baby. Hey buddy, good morning, good morning. So what we want to do is, whenever I do a mat assessment, I'm really just trying to find out, can I keep the hips neutral, and does bringing the legs to neutral affect the hips? And I'll show you what I mean. So the main reason I'm doing a mat assessment is to see what hip angle we have. So what we do is we put our thumb on your ASIS, you get a little ticklish there. And then we want to bring the leg up and then coming up over here. And what I'm trying to see is that, can this essentially come up to 90 without this ASIS part moving? So I'll do this, and if it moves, it means we've got a limitation there. So this is as far as it can go. But you can come all the way out there. The ASIS doesn't move. It pushes back a bit, which is also interesting. Like with people, you might feel like, oh, I can't get to that range, but sometimes people have tone and they get really excited and it appears that they don't have that range, but they do. They just need to relax. So take everything that you do here with a grain of salt. But anyway, this is what I'll do. I'll grab that leg, bring it up, make sure we can get the range. And that's the main one. You could also check for like posterior pelvic tilt to make sure he has range doing this, but most people can do posterior pelvic tilt. It's not a big thing you need to assess. It's more if someone's in an anterior tilt and they're like this and we're like, can we bring him back to neutral? So if he's in an anterior tilt, I want to see, can I bring him into posterior tilt? Or if he's in posterior tilt naturally, so his hips are curving in, can I bring him into anterior tilt? But a very hard thing to assess when you're not using a baby. If you do an adult, that's pretty hard to do. A lot of this is very hard to do on an adult. Like if you want to do hip obliquity, I would never do this to an adult. This is not a practical thing to do. I can do it to you, so I want to see, are his hips mobile from this way? But for a lot of adults, and you're on the ground and you're trying to reach over, not a very practical thing to do. So what are the practical things that I would do in a mat assessment? I would, yes, hip range. And then like if someone's legs were like this, I want to see if I bring the legs into neutral, does that affect the hips? I want to have the legs neutral, and if these legs are like this, and when I do this, these hips move, then we know there's like a non-reducible posture there that we need to accommodate. So the idea is we want to see here, if I come into neutral, that's good. It means I can aim to get this to neutral because it's not going to affect the hips. That's your cute boy. But a very common thing that you'll see when I do a mat assessment, the main thing I do a mat assessment for is to look for the hip angle. And so what you'll notice is that if someone's hip is limited here, then that can cause a rotation, and I'll explain exactly how. So if Theo could only bring his knees up to here, then if I tried to put him into a chair that was 90 degrees like this, he would rotate his hips to open up that hip angle. So that's what we're looking for. So if he can only come up to here, and this leg can come all the way up, but this one can't, then when he try to put him into a chair that's not accommodated for, he's going to rotate to allow for that position. So what we do instead is have a cushion that would dip down, and you can do things like the Specs constructor cushion, or you can do molded cushions and things like that. But you're allowing for that hip to drop and him to sit like this, so he doesn't rotate his hips. Is that right, buddy? But generally speaking, mat assessment, put their hips in neutral. What is stopping our hips from getting to neutral? That's how I look at it. In terms of hip obliquity, very hard to do. I'd rather just do that in seating and chuck something under someone's bottom and see what happens. And torso, you can do things. You can also test range of motion of the ankles and the hands and everything, but not necessary to do while someone's lying down. The main thing is for me, I just look at the hips. Is that right, buddy? Let's change your nappy. Yay! I hope that would help.